My name is Penny Coles. It's nice to meet you.
Yes, hello, I'm Keith, and it's nice to meet you as well.
I am the VR technician that is filling in for the counselor who normally handles our deaf clients. She's out today, so I have the interpreter here. And you ready to get started? Okay.
Yes, I am here today because I'm really in need of VR's help. Um, I've had some very interesting life changes recently. On a positive note, I have a new baby boy at home. On the other side of that, I've also been laid off from my current job. So I'm really here to get some guidance. I'm not sure what the next steps should be, whether I should go back to school or, I'm kind of open to ideas. I'm really contemplating what the next step should be in my professional life. And honestly, I'm just at a loss and looking for your guidance.
Well, let me ask you some questions and take down all your information. And then when your counselor gets back, I will give her all your information and she will call you and set up an appointment.
That's great. That all sounds great.
Okay. And your name was what again?
Yes, my name is Alex Calogar, Calogar.
Okay. And are you a previous VR client? How recent? It's been a long time ago. Okay.
Yes, I have worked with VR in the past, and that case was closed actually, and that was how I found this most recent job that I've just recently been laid off from. So yes, I have, to answer your question, I have worked with VR in the past. It's been a while.
And where were you a client?
Yes, at the location on Lamar Avenue.
Okay. And the outcome was you found a job. So, okay.
Yes.
Do you
That is correct.
remember who your counselor was?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was so long ago. I don't recall the name.
You can probably look it up. Okay. And what is your educational background?
Yes, I did complete high school with a GED, and then I went on to college where I earned an associate's degree, and since that I've been working. Unfortunately, it seems like an associate's degree just doesn't cut it the way it used to.
Okay. And what is your current address?
Yes, my address is 123 John Avenue, and that's in Austin, Texas.
Okay. And so your last job laid you off because they downsized, right? Okay.
That is correct. I was downsized.
Um,
Yes, I'm sure you're aware of the recent layoffs at Motorola. Yeah, that was my employer, and I was a victim of those layoffs.
right. Okay. And what is your employment history before Motorola?
Yes, I've had a lot of different jobs in my work history. I did pizza delivery work. I also worked in a restaurant. Worked for a time in a warehouse, and also on an assembly line working with car parts. I did also work as a camp counselor, and I also worked at the Texas School for the Deaf as a dorm supervisor.
Okay. And what do you feel are your strengths as an employee?
Well, I think one strength of mine is definitely that I'm self-directed and work well without direct supervision. And on that note, I would like to really go back to school to earn a degree in and become a computer repair technician or technical support technician, something in that field, which I think speaks well to this strength of mine. You know, again, I really enjoy working alone, and I work well on my own. And I feel that I would really like the mobility of being kind of like a traveling tech support person for companies that maybe were having issues with their machinery, you know, their office machinery or computers. I think that that is a definite strength of mine, and I would work well in that environment.
Okay. And what do you feel are your weaknesses, if any?
Let's see. As far as a weakness, I would have to list that as my interaction with my coworkers. Honestly, communication is an issue because I'm deaf, and writing notes back and forth can become a little tedious for me. And this does cause me to tend to not interact with my colleagues as much as I probably should. And honestly, I could be a little more open-minded about that situation and try a little harder, and not focus. I tend to get very focused on the task at hand. So I would name that as a weakness that I could really try to improve the amount that I interact with the colleagues in a job site.
Okay. What do you feel is your career goal? What would you really, really like to be doing?
Well, as far as a career goal, I think that really one thing that I value is independence, and my ideal job would include independence, possibly working as a freelance computer tech support person. Again, I would love the mobility and the independence of being able to get out and make service calls. So I think that my ideal job would include definitely some level of independence. And I really feel as if I'm at a crossroads right now. As I mentioned before, I have this new baby at home, um, which is great, but with my recent layoff, money has become an issue. So I'm really torn. Half of me would like to get back into the workplace as soon as possible and begin earning again. And the other half of me would really like to pursue further my education. And really, the situation, not knowing which way I should go, whether back into the workforce or, into college, has really got me between a rock and a hard place. And I'm really here today hoping that VR can provide me with some assistance in this area.
Right. Okay. We'll do our best.
Okay.
So, what are your salary expectations?
Well, I think $1 million a year would be fair.
That sounds good. What kind of challenges do you currently face? Or what did you face when you were at Motorola? Was it being a deaf employee?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is, of course, communication, and that doesn't only apply to me. That's a standard workplace issue with other deaf people. So that was definitely an issue. If I could give you a real life example from my time at Motorola, if my supervisor were to call a department meeting, they would not hire an interpreter so that I could fully participate in the meeting and have my opinions heard, as well as having access to what was discussed. And my supervisor would often put me off with telling me he would write notes to me about what they had discussed in the meeting after the fact. And there may be a 30-minute meeting, and I would get just a short synopsis, a written synopsis of what was discussed, and that just didn't seem right. I don't feel like I was able to participate fully as an employee, and I was not given full access to what was discussed in these meetings. And that's just kind of an example of the communication issues that I'm speaking of.
So the challenges that you might face in a new job situation, how do you think you would handle that if it was the same as in Motorola?
Well, I think one thing that I could definitely do if I found myself in that situation again would be to provide tools or resources to my new employer. Oftentimes companies are just unaware of how to hire an interpreter. So I could definitely provide these tools and resources that my employer could use in order to bring an interpreter in for an important meeting or something of that nature. Another important tool that I could provide would be how to get in touch with me. A lot of people are not aware of the relay system, and I could definitely explain that, as well as providing my pager number, just so people would know how to get in touch with me. I can't guarantee that an employer would take advantage of these resources, but I could definitely provide them. And if I were to do that, I feel like the situation could definitely improve.
What different accommodations do you feel are required for you as a deaf employee? What would you like for your employer to have for you?
Well, I would say there are two things that come to mind when you ask me that question, and an interpreter when necessary, as well as patience. I would need an employer to have patience. many of my past employers have not realized about me that I'm a very quick learner, and while they might need patience with the communication issues in the beginning, I pick things up very quickly, and once I'm focused on a task, I just don't stop. And that is, obviously a benefit to an employer, and if they just had that patience to get to that point, that would be great.
Okay. Do you feel like they should have phone equipment, those kind of things for you there also?
I would say at the minimum, to be provided with a video phone would be fantastic. Other than that, I can't think of anything else I would need. I go to work and not to work on my social life. So that would be the only thing I could think of.
Okay. Have you ever taken an aptitude test?
Actually, I have, but it was so long ago, I barely even remember it. And again, it was so long ago, the results or the findings, I have no idea what those were.
Oh, you don't remember what they revealed? No.
Not at all. Mm-mm.
So what are your interests?
Just to clarify, are you talking about my personal interests or my professional interests? Well, I am a sports enthusiast. I love to travel and enjoy spending time with friends and family. And of course, top on my list is my young son that I have at home.
Okay, and do you have any special skills?
Yes, I have very good computer skills and work well with various programs. I'm comfortable with the Microsoft Office suite with programs such as Microsoft Word and Excel, as well as integration. That is definitely a strong skill of mine.
Okay, well, that's pretty much all of the questions that I have. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I did have a question. Is VR able to provide assistance to my family to cover daycare costs?
Honestly, I'm not really sure about everything. I will write these questions down that you have and give them to the counselor that will be assigned to you, and she will be able to answer all this for you. So let me do the daycare.
Okay, that's fine.
And what else? What other questions?
Yes, I'm wondering if I should happen to move, would I be able to stay with the same VR counselor, or would I be assigned a new one?
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think those are all the questions that I had.
Okay. Well, I will give this to her when she returns, and she will contact you. Let me get your phone or video phone number or email address.
Yeah. Yes, my telephone number is 440-440-4440.
Okay, and email.
Yes, my email address is texasdawg, DAWG, @hotmail.com.
Is there which one of these would you prefer us contact you by?
I prefer email.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess that is it.
All right, well, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for meeting with me.
Thank you for coming in.